everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today is going to be my mid-year fails video. I did a mid-year favorites, and I asked all of you if you'd be interested in seeing my fails, and it seemed to be a overwhelming yes. So I don't have as many fails as I did favorites, which is a good thing. That's a very positive thing. But there are a few things that I either am not reaching for at all, or I just feel are fails in comparison to my expectations of the brand or the product. We'll get into it. All right, so let's break it up. Let's start with foundation. I actually only have one foundation that I consider a fail this year, and that's the Burberry foundation. This is the Burberry Ultimate Glow Foundation. The foundation itself, and I am wearing all these products today that I'm talking about, and it came up with a decent look, but we'll get into why these are fails for me. The thing about the Burberry foundation, one, I think there's alcohol in here. It's something I need to check, but I think there is, because although it does give me like a glow and the foundation actually looks pretty nice, as it wears throughout the day, it's a little drying on my skin, and I just don't feel like it's comfortable throughout the day. My other issue, and you'll see in the video, hopefully it's popping up as I talk about this, and I'll do it again on my hand just so you can see it. So the shade that I bought is Light Cool. Is that right? Yes, Light Cool. And there was a shade that was a little bit lighter than this. I don't remember what, Fair Cool maybe. But the thing is, it's not really cool by any sense of the word. When I put it on my face, it's yellow. It has a yellow undertone. And I would be fine if it was peach. I mean, if it was Light Cool, they called it Light Cool and it was peach, I'd be like, okay, all right, you know, I don't really think it's cool, but okay. But this is yellow. This has a warm yellow undertone. And again, I don't think it's a bad match for my skin. As you can see, as it warms up, it gets a little bit more peachy, but it's still yellow. It's still warm on me, and I don't think you should call something Light Cool if it's not a cool shade. Now, again, this is subjective, and some people will be like, well, it looks cool enough to me. But if you see when I put it on my face, compared to my face, it is much warmer. And so I just don't like this shade. And I thought about getting the lighter, the paler shade, which I think was maybe Fair Cool, but then I was like, well, what'll be the difference? I think this is the right shade in intensity. I just think it's the wrong undertone. And so that cool would be the same as this cool, which means it's not cool at all. So I don't like the shades. I do think it gives a nice finish. So if you are the kind of person who likes a warmer toned foundation, I can't imagine what the warm foundation looks like, but whatever. If you like a warmer toned foundation, something that has a little bit more yellow, I think you'll really like this. It actually does, like I said, look nice on my skin, but the dry, it's a little, as the day goes on, for me, it's a little irritating. There may be alcohol, I'll double check. I think that may be what it is, but so I just don't reach for it. That's the thing. Even though it looks nice, I don't reach for it because the dry down's a little uncomfortable throughout the day and the color just isn't right. So for me, that's a fail. Okay, so that's the foundation. Then I have two blushes, a highlighter, and a bunch of eye products and a lip product. And let's get into the highlighter product. I would say, again, I think my makeup today looks okay. I don't think it looks bad, but a lot of these products I had to like work with, which I get is like important because you might not always get you might buy a product and you don't want to just, you know, not use it. So you can work with it to make it work for you. But again, to me, that's a fail because these are luxury products. And if they're not something I'm reaching for, if they're not something I really love, if they're not something that I find works really well for me, then it's a fail. I want to be able to figure out ways to use makeup that isn't like my favorite, but to me, still the expense that goes into buying these things, like if it doesn't live up to the expectations, then it's a fail. Okay, so the first one is the highlighter. This is the Sisley Lafido Blush, but this is the shimmer. The blushes in this category, in this line, are really nice and very pigmented. So this is number 6, and it's called Shimmer. And so this is supposed to be the highlight of the collection. I don't know why they call it Lafido Blush and then made one a highlighter, but they did. I love Sisley. I really do. I love the Sisley products. I'll have a nighttime skincare routine coming up for summer that I'll show you guys. I use a lot of Sisley skincare. I like Sisley makeup. The blushes that came out with this are really good, but this is not good. It's like granular. I have it on my face today, and it just, it accentuates any texture that I do have. And I don't have a lot of texture in my skin. I have other issues with my skin, but it actually makes it look like it's more texturized here than it is. So let me bring you in so you can see. I think you can see what I mean in the camera. Hopefully it picks it up, but it really does accentuate the aged nature of my skin. And like I said, I don't really have a ton of texture, so I find that irritating. The blush is beautiful. The highlighter, the shimmer, it's just it's kind of gritty. And I think I don't think it's good for mature skin. It's just my opinion. Okay, blushes. Now the blushes are an interesting category for today because there's a lot of blushes that came out. And I know my blush battle is late. The reason my blush battle is late, I'm gonna try to explain this without giving things away. There are blushes that I've had for some time that aren't coming out yet. And I wanted to include them in the blush battle, and I thought they were coming out in June. They're not. Now it looks like they're coming out in July. So I was waiting to do the blush battle until they were officially released, but now it looks like they're not gonna be officially released for like quite some time. So I'm just not gonna include them in the blush battle, and I'll have to do the blush battle before they're released, which is annoying, but that's the way it goes. But that explains why my blush battle wasn't out yet, but it will be coming. The blushes that I think are fails for this half year are not fails in the traditional sense. So there have been a lot of blushes. There have been, I think every brand has come out with blushes. Lisa Eldridge came out with blushes. We've got Chanel, we've got Hermes, we've got Pat McGrath. I mean, everybody who's anybody has come out with blush. And so I'm comparing these to the other blushes that have come out, the other blushes that I'm reaching for, and my standards for these brands. And the first one is the Hermes blush. Now, I will tell you, I think these are actually very good blushes. I think the formula is very nice. This is Rose Nuit. Sorry about my voice, guys. I have no idea what's happening with it. I guess I've just used it too much. But I think the blush is beautiful. I think the formula is very good. I just think that it's Hermes and it's very expensive. I think the packaging was pretty. I think it was done nicely and it was simple. But the fact that these are stuck, glued to the case, and then they offered refills, which are not magnetic, I don't grasp that at all. Like, I cannot understand why Hermes would do that. These are expensive blushes. There's no reason that they wouldn't be magnetic. Absolutely none. And if they're not going to be magnetic, don't offer refills. I find that to, in some ways, negate the quality of the product. Because again, when you're buying luxury beauty, you're buying more than just the product. We can all say whatever we want about, well, luxury beauty has better ingredients. And in some cases, that is very true. Like, one of the reasons I like certain brands is I do think they spend more on products. I do think they spend more on testing. I do think they spend more on trying to make sure their products last longer, are better, are cleaner, whatever. But there's also something to be said for packaging. There is something to be said for having beautiful packaging, having excellent customer service, all of those things. This failed in that sense, and I expect more from a brand like Hermes. Like, if you're Hermes, you should do better. It's that simple. So I think the product is good. I actually do like these blushes. There's a couple shades that I reach for. Rose Tan is probably my favorite. There's a couple. I do think they're very pretty. I really do. But they're, let's say Pat McGrath blushes, I would choose over these every day, because I feel like the Pat McGrath blushes are more pigmented. They work for a broader spectrum of people. The packaging was really well done. The release was really well done. And I have to give points to that. So I feel like this is a fail. Again, not necessarily because of the formula itself, but overall, again, if you're spending $15, that's one thing. If you're spending $80 or whatever it was on a blush, and they don't, they come up with a product that they say is going to be refills, and then it's glued to the pan, and they don't even mention that. This is a huge problem. Next is going to be kind of a controversial one, I'm sure. I'm sure the Hermes one is as well. This is what I'm wearing today. This is the new Chanel blush. This is in Brun Rouge, which was a new shade. And I actually think this is a very pretty shade, but what gets me is, let's say this shade, if you look at it in the pan, that looks like a pretty deep shade, right? I mean, it's, it's got some pigment there, or at least it looks like it does. But I am a very pale person, and that is the blush on my face. Now, I didn't go in with a lot of it. I only went in with like 1 or 2 passes of it. But again, I have older Chanel blushes, some that were really old, that I did a whole video on, and the older formula is much more pigmented, and it's also it blends better, just does. Now, the new formula is not bad. New formula is, again, it's good. This is talking about like in comparison to my expectations. The new formula is good, but it's not as good as the old formula. So why did you change it? I'm hoping it's because the ingredients are better, maybe better for us, better for the environment. I don't know. But I have to say, to me, it's a fail when you take a product that's basically like a cult status product and you don't improve it. And not only do you not improve it, but in my opinion, it's not as good. So to me, that's a fail. Sorry, Chanel. But they totally knocked it out of the park on the liners, the waterproof liners. Those are phenomenal. And supposedly reformulated. Well, they are reformulated. The formula is different. But in performance, they're exactly the same, and the shades are gorgeous. So, you can't, I guess they're not batting it 100%. Let's go to eyeshadows. So I have one palette and a couple of, one quint and 2 quads. So let's do the small ones first. The first is because we'll stay with Chanel. The first is the Chanel. This is the Allure Eclat. This was the which one was this? I forgot when this is the Pearl collection. I forgot when it came out. I don't remember. And this eye quad is like non-existent in pigment. I have this shade, which is the only shade I really like in here. This is a very like bright white shade. Let me show it to you on my hand. And I have it on my brow, and I have it as my inner corner because it actually is a very pretty pearlescent shade. There we go. And on the eye, it looks really nice. But you can see even that one is like not a pigmented shade. And again, I'm pale. Like everything shows up on me, but this barely shows up on me. It's like I said, it's pretty, but guys, I mean, I get it. You want to have some that are a really light look, a really ethereal look. That's fine. You can have a really light ethereal look. Suku does it all the time, where there's still, you know, shade and pigment. This just seemed non-existent to me. Again, this is just to me. And I made a really pretty look with it when I did the video with it, but I don't reach for this quad practically ever. I have so many good Chanel quads, and the new ones, the summer ones, absolutely love. The Serenite and the Vibrations, gorgeous, gorgeous. But this one, to me, was a fail. All right, we've got 2 Dior's. And you know how much I love Dior. I hate their customer service. Sorry, Dior, but your Dior.com, terrible. Products, excellent. Service, awful. I've got the 699 Mirage and the 619 Pink Glow. 699 Mirage, I will honestly say to you that if it wasn't for the channel and me reviewing it, I would have never bought this. It doesn't even, again, it's similar to the Chanel in the sense that it just doesn't exist. Like, all the shades blend into one. One in and of itself would be pretty, but again, if you're spending that much money for something, no. And you know, a lot of people wrote and said, well, the look you did was really pretty, it looked beautiful on your eye, and I greatly appreciate the compliment, thank you very much. But again, I had to spend effort and time to make it look like that, and just because it suited me doesn't mean it's a good product. And I think a lot of people really couldn't even wear that because it was basically 2 shades, and it just sort of blended. And it was just so light and so like a mirage, like it didn't exist, that I think you can have something be light and ethereal and not super pigmented, but still look good on a bunch of different people. And that one, I think for the money, I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, again, this is a personal opinion. The other one is Pink Glow. And Pink Glow I've seen on a number of different people, and it actually looked really nice on some people. On me, it just did not. It's not because it's pink. I know a lot of people will be like, well, you don't like pink. It's not that. It all, again, blended into one shade. And this shade here, this like purple thing, you can see like scratch marks in it. It has like an overlay to it. I ended up using it as liner, and it worked really well as liner, but I never reached for this quad. In fact, I don't think I've worn it since I did the review. It just doesn't look good on me. It's not a pleasing look, and it all kind of, again, blended into one, and that one shade I had to use as a liner. The new Dior that just came out, something Voyage, I just forgot the name of it, that just came out, and then there's a Golden Day one. Dior has mixed up the names and the shades. So the picture that Dior posted is not the quint that's being sent out. The quint that's being sent out actually looks like Pink Glow in a way. It looks like a similar color story, but the swatches look much, much better. Aileen from A Merch Beauty got it really early, and she'll have a video up by the time this goes up, I'm sure. And it does look beautiful, but the point is that's not what Dior said that they were sending. So Dior is literally has a picture on their site and has Voyage next to it, and that is not the quint that everyone's getting, which is a serious problem when you're considering that people are spending all this money to order something. And it's, you know, these are expensive, which I find disheartening. I feel like that's something that a luxury brand should not do. And if they do make a mistake, because everyone makes mistakes, then there should be a public statement about it, apologize, refund people's money if they want it refunded, or do something, because, I mean, I don't understand how that happens. You put up the wrong picture. Like, that's not acceptable. But anyway, those are the 2 Dior's. And you know, I love Dior products. I love their quints over the last year and a half. So I'm disappointed in them. Okay, so palette. Natasha Denona Zendo palette. I have this on my eyes today, and I used the warm shades today. When I did the video, I used the green blue shades. And here's the thing. These shades, and I've tried numerous different ones. Like, I've tried different ones together. Today I used like these here. I've tried these. I've tried mixing these. And they all blend like into one. this was my issue with the Chanel and the Dior's. If you're gonna have different shades, they need to be separate and apart from each other. Otherwise, just have a single shade, which is fine. If someone's buying a single, that's okay. But if you can't really tell, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different shades on my eyes right now, not including the Chanel white shade that I put in the brow bone and the inner corner. That's the only one that really stands out to me, and that's not even from this palette. So my issue is Natasha Denona, when I buy her palettes, her shades are always stunningly beautiful, and they don't just blend into, you know, one shade. They're separate and apart from each other. You can blend them, definitely, but when you blend them, you still get a demarcation of each shade, unless you're purposely trying to put them on top of each other. These don't do that. These were put in separate places, and it still kind of blends into one overall shade. That happened with the warm shades, that happens with the blue shades, it happens with all the shades. Now, maybe I'm doing it wrong. It's possible. It could be user error. That I'm not above, like, I make mistakes too. And if that's the case, then I'm not using this palette right. But again, as I said in the beginning, for me, if I have to work to make something work for me, then it's a fail. Even if it's my ineptitude, fine. But if I can't make it work for me, then it's a failure, one way or another. Either it's the product's fault or it's my fault. But all the other Natasha Denona palettes I've had have been great. I haven't had any problems with. So for me, that one's a fail. Okay, last but not least is my lips. So today I have on, and I had to put liner on with it because by itself, it's annoying. It's the Westman Atelier Les Nudes. This is the lip suede. And I gotta tell you guys, this one really disappointed me because I never bought the red one because I don't wear red lips. It's just not a thing I wear. And I was like, oh, well, I'll get the nude one because, you know, and I really dislike this, like, a lot. I just don't like it. I have the deepest shade on my lips right now, and I honestly feel like I don't like it. This is the deepest shade on a person as pale as me. I just feel like these aren't nude shades. I feel like these are just lip color shades, which, I mean, I guess if you're just looking for something that mimics the color of your lips, but like, I just feel like then call that a lip balm. I don't know. The squeaky clean ones from Westman Atelier that came out about the same time, I like those. I think those are pretty. I mean, I get it. They're like basically just a little bit of tinted color, and they disappear quickly because they're liquids and they're like glossy. But I'd rather have those than this. And I said that in my review. I mean, I guess it's comfortable. It is comfortable on the lips, but I think the shades are a miss, and I don't know. I just don't, it's just not for me. I think the packaging is really cool. It's very heavy. It's very pretty. But I think the shades are just a miss. I think they needed to be, if they wanted to be nude, that's fine, but they needed to be more pigmented. And they needed to be, I don't know, like just a better product. And you know, that's hard for me to say because Westman Atelier is one of my favorite brands. I love their blush. I love their highlighters. I mean, I love pretty much everything Westman does, but that product for me is just a fail. Sorry. And I forgot to mention the mascara that I'm wearing. This is the Lancome Idol, or Idol, or it says Idol, but it's got the E on the end, so I don't know. But here's the thing about this. The mascara itself does lengthen. It's a lengthening mascara. It's a curved brush, which I do like. But the thing is, it's a really spiky brush, and it's just not for me. It's just not the kind of brush I like. The formula seems good, but I like a thick brush that gives more like volume, not necessarily length. So this type of brush is just not something I enjoy. If you like something that's lengthening and that separates all the lashes, you'll like this. But if you're like me and you like the Jones Road or the Bite Beauty Upswing, this is not gonna be your cup of tea. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. I'm just looking around to see if there's anything else that's a fail. Those are my only fails, which is not a lot considering how much I've bought over the last 6 months. So I've been very lucky. And you know, I feel like, again, this is a personal opinion. This is just my thoughts. It doesn't mean these are bad products. If you love these products, I'm not saying you're wrong. Everybody has, you know, their opinion, but they just don't work for me. And again, it could be user error, it could be my fault, but they just don't work for me or my skin, or you know, possibly also, you know, I'm older, I have very dry skin, so sometimes the product just doesn't work on your type of skin, or your, you know, like the thing for like the Burberry foundation, it actually does look very pretty. It's just the shade, it's not a cool shade, and for my type of skin, for my dry skin, I find it a little bit irritating. For someone else, you know, might not have any issues at all. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.